This building, it's a real landmark around here.
Which is really something to love and to cherish. It is a historic place and it breathes history.
Masseria Partemio is a 17th century historic building. Even though it had crumbling walls and it was in a devastated state, I had to save it. Hi, I'm Gustavo.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And we both call Masseria Partemio home.
So we're in Puglia, southern Italy.
In what I call the heel of the boot.
Puglia is a beautiful area. It's a very rural area, thousands of olive trees everywhere. It's actually like nothing else. What really struck me was the serenity of the countryside. It breathes history. There's so much history here and you feel it everywhere.
We met through friends.
I was here on holiday.
And we clicked right away.
Yeah. But also, Gustavo told me that he is actually married to a house, to Masseria Partemio. And then Gustavo brought me here. And first thing I saw was the tower. And I was like, wow, yeah, this is something else.
The approach to the house, you can see it's flanked by centuries-old olive trees.
This is our tower popping up. When people approach our house, first reaction is they're in awe.
The house was built in 1608. The original owner was a gentleman by the name of Partenio Campobianco. The name of the house Partemio is a derivative of his first name, Partenio. This was a nobleman's house. It was a hunting lodge, and he would have used this on the weekend. I was looking for many years to buy a holiday home. A friend of mine brought me to Puglia, and then I was amazed by the architecture of these beautiful haciendas or farmhouses. When I first came here at the end of 2016, all I remember was I saw this amazing, majestic red tower through this kind of crumbling structure covered in trees and moss. And I heard all these little bells that were ringing, and I didn't know what it was. And 200 ghosts came out of the house. It was an absolute wreck. Vandalized, everything was stolen. It was like a glamorous lady that had been thrown to the side and just discarded.
But you were struck by her beauty.
Currently, it has multiple terraces, gardens, 5 bedrooms, a big kitchen area, a dining room, and it has the living room. It's a magical house. It's very unusual for the area. What you can see is 2 different types of architecture. You see an Italian villa that is suspended above 2 stables, which were working stables. The family lived in the center of the house. And then the tower, which was added in the mid-1800s, because at that point in time, Puglia was under Spanish rule. So that is a Moorish Spanish tower, which became the watchtower of the house. This balustrade was not here, so it's been replaced, and it's an exact replica of the balustrade that existed here before. The color that you can see is a Pompeian red, which denotes money and wealth. We were very, very sensitive to making sure that the color of the house stayed as original as possible, using organic materials.
It's a regal building. It has grandeur. And every time I come home, I get the feeling that all these illustrious people wanted to live here.
So let's go in.
Welcome to Partemio.
So here we are in the entrance hall, and it really sets this house off. All the signs are here that Partenio Campobianco was a wealthy man. He was somebody that loved the finer things in life. When I first came here, the ceilings were covered in a white paint. Unlucky for us, when we cleaned the whole house with a water gun, we were so lucky to find a fresco like this that's 400 years old. So now we're gonna go into what used to be the dining room. Speaking to that last family that lived here until 1977, when it was still a working farm, This room was 3 separate small rooms. This was the kitchen. They walked through a doorway into what was the dining room, and then into another doorway into what was one of the bedrooms. And we've turned it again into one living room. And it was one of those eureka moments. When everything was open, it just gave the house a completely different perspective. Here we have the original ceiling again. We have an 8-pointed star. The 8-pointed star is affiliated with the Knights of Malta. It's the Maltese cross. It's another sign of pedigree and lineage. This is what has always been historically the heart of the home, or the kitchen, and it's always been used that. We know that because we found it intact. It's actually 1 chimney with 3 flues. This was the wood oven, which is where you would bake pizzas and breads, etc. This was where you would boil waters, you would disinfect the water to drink, you would boil milk, you would boil other liquids. We did find a stone sink underneath this window. They would invert the cauldron here, separate the curds from the whey. The whey would run off, and that was fed to the small animals in the back. Today, still standing, is a small drain pipe that goes out into an outdoor vat. Historically, Puglia is the food basin of Italy,
Right.
so it's easy to grow crops here. It was still a working farm. Masseria Partemio sits on 20 acres. The days are long. It's a lot of work. You get up early. You've got to manage the land. The olives are the best in the world, actually. We have lavender fields. We have bees that we have to take care of. Bellissimo. Quanti api stanno in Calabria?
50,000
Bees per hive.
per hive, yes.
So in total, we have 200,000 bees. Food is a big part of the culture of what we are here. But it's not about planting more things, it's about planting with a purpose. These are all the babies in there. The queen is there, yeah.
There is a lot to be done, but every day also comes with surprises. Every day I go in the field and I return with arms full of flowers. I just want to make this place more of a home, every day a little bit more.
Because we didn't want to have a kitchen up here, we moved the kitchen into one of the stables.
So this is now our kitchen area. This once were the stables. We transformed it into a kitchen, moving the original heart of the home.
I grew up in a very foodie household. My mother was an amazing cook. Our life revolved around the kitchen and telling stories around meal times. This room is actually a very special room to us because it's where we had our first meal. Christmas dinner was the first dinner that we had here.
Partemio is where we fell in love. From that moment on, I knew that my life was going to change. This is what I call home now.
So all along this wall, you had stone troughs, which is where the animals would eat. The last living inhabitants here were in 1977. The Urso family reached out to us through social media. They now live between Germany and Puglia, and we do see them whenever they're back.
Wow, pazzesco. Bellissimo. Bellissimo, bellissimo. Io sono nata qua, in questa bellissima struttura, nel 1966.
Con magia, una cosa speciale.
Era il nostro castello.
It
Castello.
was your castle.
Mio padre si alzava presto la mattina per portare mungere le mucche
E dove stavano le mucche? Stavano qua.
In cucina.
in cucina, dove hai tu la
Where
cucina.
the kitchen is now, that's where the cows were, okay?
Anche se eravamo 7 figli, 9 persone in tutto, eravamo felici e non avevamo niente, ma avevamo tutto.
After you left in 1977, che è successo? And after this, what happened?
Sono tornata forse nei primi anni 2000 per venire a vedere. Ho pianto per una settimana, Gustavo.
Adesso sei contenta?
Adesso sono la donna più felice del mondo
Wow.
perché hai comprato casa, portato in vita questa bellissima storia.
Grazie.
Grazie a te.
Grazie a te. Grazie per stare qua. We have a large southern-facing stable over here, part of the original structure. And then in order to give the room a nice view, we opened up a door with the same frame of the initial door that faces north. So it gives you a really nice airy feeling to where we wanted the dining rooms to be.
So we're coming out of the kitchen and we are going from one dining area and one social area to the other. This happens to be our Il Tavolo Rosso, our red table. We love having big parties. This is certainly our favorite spot to have dinners with friends. Eating outside is part of Puglia culture. Sharing food, bringing people together. The table's 10 meters long, solid concrete, and certainly adds to the experience of eating outside.
We wanted to create almost like a sculpture. We wanted something very sleek and contemporary. I think the fact that we blended the colors together makes it seem like it's been here forever, even though we built it last year. And I think it's one of the most favorite places we have in the house. So this is now the inner courtyard of the house, which back in 1600 was the stables. So this is one of the most special rooms. Just imagine in 1608 being here and this being one big, long, open corridor.
Right.
This was where they would have stored all the dried food, the hay, the grain, etc. And here is where also the stable hands would live. And I can tell you that because this is the original fireplace. Humans and animals in Puglia history always lived together, particularly in the winter, because also animals gave you warmth. When it was a hunting lodge, the caretaker would be living here. So this was always more of the working fireplace and oven than the cooking oven that was inside of the house. When I first saw this place, this was completely covered in green moss. There were roots coming out of the vaults. And so the first thing that we did was we cleaned everything out. We let the summer heat dry the house, and we pretty much left it as it is. The stone itself is a natural color. You know, the Pugliese were never as rich as their neighbors in the north. An interesting thing, if you look at the floor, is that we purposely chose this terrazzo, which is a mixture of cement and marble. Marble, obviously being an expensive material, was discarded from the north. The Pugliese would mix it with cement and create their own type of marble. Puglia is non-pretentious. It's working man's Italy, and I think that that's what we're trying to communicate. There's a raw beauty, I think, in the room.
Right. This room is a very special room to us. This was the first room where we slept when we first arrived here.
Remember, we lived here for about 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Well, we had a little kitchen in the corner. It was our first winter in the house. We used the fireplace.
And we took showers with water that we collected from the well in the garden.
Because there was no running water. So it has, for us particularly, this is a really special room.
Right. This is where our
life together in Puglia started.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
When I look back, this house was my life's work, and it was a Herculean task. The house was supposed to take 2.5 years, ended up taking close to 7 years. It was not only restoring and bringing this property back to life, it's about the journey of beginning a life with someone new. I think we should taste the honey. Look at the color.
Can I? Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I love the rhythm that I have here. Beautiful. Protect your life, baby.